we are Omnia Exterior Solutions. And what we are doing is a roll-up in the roofing business, but a little bit different than what's being done by others. And why are we doing it different? Well, I've been in this industry my entire life. I'm very passionate about the owners. You guys and gals work very hard to build your business. Private equity guys, you know, Billy Bean was talking about all these smart guys from Harvard and all these schools. Who do you think the private equity guys are? They're brilliant guys. They have awesome suits and they're really smart. Very, very smart, and they went to the best universities. And guess what? Is every remodeler in your town ethical and great? Are there any that aren't? Well, that's how it is with private equity. Some of them are really great, and some of them aren't so great, and they're really smart. And so my job, in my opinion, is to educate everybody in the room about the ins and outs of private equity and just make sure you ask the right questions. So if you decide to go down this path, you go down the path the right way. So what do we do at Omnia? Our tone is collaborative. We want collaborative companies, right? We want people who want to work together. We don't want the big egos that are the biggest and the baddest, because guess what? You put 10 of those folks in a room, do they work together? Have you ever been in a meeting like that? It doesn't work real well. So we want the collaborative type people with their egos in check. We want honest and transparency from the people we're going to do business with, and we want to give that to the folks that we're going to acquire. We are very different, I think, than many private equity groups in that we're 100%. This is what we're going to do. This is our plan. This is how we're going to try to execute it. So we want you to come into this 100% knowing what we're about. And if it's a great fit, wonderful. If it's not, then we're not for you, and let me help you get to the right fit. It'd be awesome. We're inspired and aspirational because we always look forward, and that's been my hallmark of my career. You know, when I went to VIPCO, if any of you remember that, we had to rebuild the company and made it Crane Performance Siding and introduced Crane Board and all these insulated products. It was something new and different. And I think that's what we've tried to do with this space is what's being played out there in the market and what's missing. And because I was in manufacturing for so long, what I found talking to my friends who were manufacturers or the top dogs at the distribution companies is, guess what? They were not really excited about private equity getting into the contractor space. Why? They saw some of their best customers. The owner gets a bunch of money, buys a boat, a plane, you name it, whatever, is out. And all their key people are like, hey, what about us? We built this business. What do we get? And in some cases, the answer was nothing. And they were seeing some of their best customers go backwards significantly, and it was very frustrating to them. Or they were seeing 10 companies get bought, and all of a sudden they start comparing prices, and they go back to the distributor manufacturer, and they say, hey, you're selling brand X at 5% higher than brand B we bought over here. If you don't rebate us that amount for the last year, we're dumping you and going over here. And that doesn't work. I was a manufacturer. You might get a good deal short term, but long term you don't. And so there was frustration. And so we felt like, God, there's got to be a better way to do this. And that's really what we set upon doing. You'll see here our mission and our vision, and the word curious is in there because we want curious companies that, you know, they want to do something different. They want to learn from one another and get better together. You'll hear that word a lot. Because what happens when you get a bunch of curious people in a room together? They want to learn from one another. They don't want to say they're the biggest and the baddest, right? They want to learn. And if you get a bunch of those folks together, man, something dynamic can happen when you get them together. So we're very, very passionate about finding the right sort of people to come into our platform. And that's why we want to tell them up front what we're about. Because if it's not a fit, that's okay. Let's find a great fit for you. And so that's really what we want to be, is that and forward thinking. And that's what you see in our mission and our vision. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that we do and look for when we acquire businesses. We want a local market leader, someone that's in the top echelon of their market. We don't want someone that's in like 5th place or something like that. So we're trying to find a well-respected local brand in their market. That's very, very important to us. Entrepreneurial, growth-minded. Our model is to find growth companies and inject intelligent conversation and also capital to make them grow faster. We're not looking for fixer-uppers. There are companies that do that. They buy fixer-uppers, they cut costs, put them together, and they flip it, and that's their model. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not our model. And so we're up front. We want people that want to grow and want to stay engaged, you know, with the business beyond when we're there. We want a tenured management team, and we want to make sure that management team stays, because what I heard from my friends was they weren't staying in a lot of cases. And so one of the things we do, we'll talk about later, is we give performance shares out to the owner of the business to give out to their key people so they participate in the success of the business long term. We think it's really, really important and a differentiator for us.